Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave, and I am taking questions today from tested patrons about Mythbusters. And today's question is a really interesting one. Robbie DeHaan says, I've been watching early Mythbusters episodes lately, and I've noticed that Adam, Jamie, and Cary, Grant, and Tori would collaborate on nearly all of the myths in the early days. But as the show progressed, the two teams seemed to separate and only work for special occasions, like Jado and Seesaw Saga. What was the reasoning for this decision? And did you prefer the two teams to work together or separately? The reason that happened was not because of anyone's specific preference. It was because of the workload that we had. If you are ever lucky enough to make a show of some kind that rates well, that is an awesome thing. It yields its own really unique and interesting problems. For instance, you make a show, as we did, the first season of Mythbusters, which took 10 months to make 13 episodes, and those started airing, and as soon as they started airing, they were doing so well, Discovery said, next year, we'd like 20 episodes. And you're like, I don't know how we're going to do that without dying. And then you figure out a way to do it. Because when you have a success, your parent company wants all of the success you can give them. They want it now. They want it yesterday. You better keep on going. Don't stop, keep on going. And that's kind of the reason that we never stopped filming Mythbusters. There was no on-season or off-season in making the show. We started filming in the early spring of 2003, and we wrapped in late 2015. And for that entire time, we never had more than 3 weeks off. 3 weeks is a great amount of time to get off. Don't get me wrong. The schedule was terrific. But, I mean, within television production, it was unrelenting. And the unrelenting aspect is the reason that the two shops eventually bifurcated and became sort of their own shops. Jamie's shop was just not big enough to house 5 people building stuff all the time. Not with camera crews, etc. And though, yeah, we started out doing lots of collaboration, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, like I said, I've worked with, as is known, I worked with Tori and with Grant for years before Mythbusters. So we had a lot of familiarity, a lot of easy working relationships, and that was delightful. But the unrelenting aspect of the schedule required a separate shop. So we built M6, which was near M5, and then that was season 2, and then season 3 we built M7, yeah, M5, M6, M7, and that was the year that Grant first started, because Scotty Chapman was third Mythbuster in season 2, and the M7 was the other team's shop through the end of the show. And they really, we functioned like 2 separate television shows for the majority of our run. Yeah, that team had their own camera crew, they had their own producers, and their own production facility, effectively. And we did lots of cross-pollination. We were talking to them every single day, multiple times per day. The 2 shops were only about a 5-minute bike ride apart. But in order to service the amount of material that our parent company requested us to make, doing it as 5 hosts working on the same things all the time was just not feasible. That being said, the episodes in which we did get together, like Seesaw Saga, were so much fun. Were so much fun. And it's the same, for those of you who saw Savage Builds, Tori Belleci, currently viewable on The Escapists with one of my all-time favorite presenters, Richard Hammond. Tori came and did a guest spot with me on Savage Builds, in which we had a food fight using cannons and larger implements and catapults and things. And what was so, there's this hidden aspect of bringing Tori over to show up on the show that was so delightful, and that is that Tori, Cary, Grant, Scotty, Jamie, and I, there's a few others in that mix, we are the only ones that's most of the list, that we are the only ones that really know what we went through as hosts of that show. and by the same token, all the Mythbusters cameramen, from Paul Henry to Peter Coleman to Scott Sorensen to Benny, everybody, like, they share something really unique in that position on the show. And we did, right? So there are aspects to what I went through while making Mythbusters that only those people understand. Only those people witnessed what I witnessed and went through what I went through. And that yields an intimacy that's really special. And so this is the longest way of explaining. Like, Tori shows up on my show. I hadn't seen him in the better part of 18 months, and it was an absolute delight. Tori was on the same show I was. We worked the same exact way. He knows exactly how to do the awesomest piece to camera. He knows what's funny. He knows what's good drama, and he's an amazing maker, right? So he shows up, and just all this hand-holding that you normally have to do with a guest on your show doesn't have to happen. More than that, he's having so much fun. I'm having fun. We're all, like, having a blast. That was what it was like every time we got to do a collaboration. Seriously. Because we're in our own fiefdoms, you know, just like doing our grinds, but every now and then we cross-pollinate and do the grinds together. That was a special occasion. So the demands of production were the reason that the two teams separated. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that subject. This was a short one. Thank you guys, tested patrons, for these awesome questions. I just feel like every single question I get about Mythbusters is one I've never heard before. Remarkable. Keep submitting them. I will keep answering them. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.